Alright, so if you're diving into Doom the Dark Ages, you already know the weapons lineup is something to get excited about. They've brought back a bunch of classics that longtime fans will totally recognize and love, but don't think it's all just nostalgia. There are fresh new toys in the mix too. Whether you're all about blasting through hordes with heavy firepower or sneaking in some precise shots, the game's arsenal has something for every kind of demon slayer out there. Now, not every weapon is created equal. Some pack a bigger punch or come with upgrades that totally change the game, making them way more effective in the heat of battle. In this video, we're going to break down all the projectile-based weapons from worst to best, helping you figure out which guns are worth your time and which ones you might want to skip. So stick around because by the end, you'll know exactly what to load up for maximum demon slaying fun. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking weapons in Doom the Dark Ages. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, grenade launcher, pulverizer, and chain shot. Alright, let's get real for a second. Sometimes in Doom the Dark Ages, you just gotta face it. Not every weapon is going to make you feel like the ultimate demon slaying legend. Yeah, some guns are just kinda meh. And today we're diving into those borderline forgettable C-tier weapons. They're not terrible, but man, you'll definitely want to keep your finger on the trigger for something better when you get the chance. First up, the grenade launcher. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're good at landing direct hits, this bad boy can pack a punch. But here's the catch, its ammo is limited and it really shines only if you're close enough to aim carefully, which kinda defeats the purpose, right? Because if you're up close and personal, why not just grab a weapon that doesn't make you look like you're tossing birthday party balloons? Plus, once you start upgrading, you'll find several other weapons that dish out area of effect damage way better than this launcher. So yeah, it's fun for a bit, but then you'll probably wonder why you ever bothered. Moving on to the pulverizer. This one's like that friend who promises to help you move but ends up just eating your snacks. The pulverizer shoots fast and hits a little harder if you charge it. But it doesn't give you any freebies like health, armor, or ammo pickups, which, let's be honest, is what you really want when you're knee-deep in demon guts. The Ravager, on the other hand, is that reliable buddy who's got your back in pretty much every scenario. So unless you're in a super crowded demon party, the pulverizer's gonna leave you wishing for better. Now, the chain shot, oh boy, this weapon is a bit of a love-hate story. Sure, it can tear through armored enemies, and with the Eldritch Blessing upgrade, it might even save you a precious couple of seconds, triggering some cool cosmic damage combos like Gravitational Flux and Cosmic Breach. But let's be honest, most players only whip out the chain shot when they've run out of literally every other ammo. That's kinda sad when you realize the chain shot itself runs out of ammo pretty quickly too. It's like that emergency candy bar you save for a storm, but eat on a sunny day because you forgot it was there. So yeah, these weapons aren't exactly the shining stars of Doom, the Dark Ages, but hey, they're not total garbage either. Sometimes it's fun to experiment, or maybe you just like the challenge of making the worst guns work for you. I mean, it's like trying to impress a demon with a water pistol. Technically possible, but probably not the best idea. In the end, if you want to dominate and look cool doing it, you'll want to keep these C-tier guns in your back pocket. Or better yet, sell them to the nearest demon dealer and invest in some real firepower, because when you're fighting Hellspawn, you deserve weapons that actually feel like they're worth the hassle. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shredder, Super Shotgun, Cycler, and Rocket Launcher. Alright, let's dive into some of those weapons in Doom, the Dark Ages that aren't exactly the stars of the show but still pack a decent punch. You know, the kind of guns you'd bring to a demon fight when your favorites are just out of reach or when you want to mix things up a bit without embarrassing yourself too much. First up, the Shredder. Now, on paper, it sounds like a beast, especially with those upgrades like Pincushion and Ricochet that promise to make your shots do some crazy secondary damage. But here's the catch. Triggering that extra damage is a bit of a hassle, and honestly, it's not really worth the trouble. If you're feeling adventurous, sure, it can be a fun alternative to the Impaler, but don't expect it to mow down enemies like a lawnmower on steroids. Its damage output is lower, and it doesn't really gel well with melee weapons either, so it's a bit like that one friend who tries hard but just can't keep up. Now, the Super Shotgun, oh man, this one makes you feel like a total badass. There's something about double barrels screaming at your enemies that just hits the spot. The problem? Unlike its younger sibling, the combat shotgun, the Super Shotgun doesn't help you out with ammo pickups. That might not sound like a big deal until you're scrambling for shells in the middle of a demon stampede. So while it's not a bad gun by any stretch, the combat shotgun kind of steals the show by being way more practical with ammo management. Moving on to the cycler. This one's a bit sneaky because it deals shock damage as secondary fire, and once fully upgraded, it gets this cool charge damage that can surprise your enemies. Damage-wise, it hangs out in the same neighborhood as the accelerator, which is a pretty solid spot to be in. But here's the kicker. The accelerator can generate ammo pickups, meaning you'll never feel as dry as you might with the cycler. So yeah, the cycler's cool, but the accelerator's the one you really want backing you up when things get intense. Then there's the rocket launcher. Classic, reliable, and always a blast to use. Pun absolutely intended. It's fun, it's explosive, and it's great for those moments when you want to say, "Alright demons, who's ready to get blasted into next week?" Plus, the cannibalism upgrade can turn the rocket launcher into a double-edged sword, especially if you're rocking close-range fights and willing to eat a little self-damage for some serious demon damage. But here's the deal. Ammo is tight. You won't be firing rockets off like it's a fireworks show, so the rocket launcher stays your special occasion weapon, the one you pull out when you want to make a statement. Honestly, this ammo scarcity is why the rocket launcher is a bit like the big fucking cannon. Sorry, big fatty cannon. Because while the big fatty cannon is insanely destructive, it also shares that save it for the boss fight vibe. Neither of these weapons are your go-to for every encounter, but when you do pull them out, demons better watch their backs. So what's the takeaway here? These B-tier weapons aren't necessarily the top dogs, but they've got their moments. They offer some fun alternatives if you want to mix your loadout or if your favorite guns are out of ammo. Just don't expect to dominate with them every time because, frankly, you'll be working a bit harder for those kills. At the end of the day, the Dark Ages isn't just about having the biggest boomstick, it's about how you use what you've got. And sometimes that means embracing these underrated weapons and proving that even the meh guns can have their day in the fiery pits of hell. So go ahead, give them a whirl, you might just surprise yourself. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, combat shotgun, impaler, and accelerator. Alright, let's cut through the demon hordes and talk about some weapons in Doom the Dark Ages that really make you feel like the ultimate slayer. No fluff, just straight up firepower that can carry you through the nastiest battles and maybe even make you look cool while doing it. First up, the combat shotgun. Now, don't let its humble beginnings fool you. This bad boy is your first weapon, sure, but once you've slapped on the smelt and flare-up upgrades, it practically turns into a tank. Why? Because those upgrades make sure you're constantly picking up armor while blasting demons to bits. It's like having your cake and eating it too, except the cake is armor and the eating part is shooting demon faces. Just a heads up though, ammo can be a bit stingy, so don't get too trigger happy. Moving on to the impaler. Oh boy, this one's a love it or hate it kind of weapon. But if you're the type who enjoys chaos and smashing things up close, especially with a fully upgraded flail, the impaler becomes your best buddy. To really milk its potential, you'll want to master parrying and landing those satisfying headshots, and thanks to the Chronospike upgrade, both get way easier. Plus, you get a bunch of extra melee attacks and ammo and armor drops. It's like the game is rewarding you for being a stylish demon slayer ninja. Now, the accelerator is where things get juicy, especially if you prefer plasma weapons. It's definitely better than the other plasma gun out there because it can generate its own ammo with the heat blast upgrade. Imagine being in the middle of a demon mosh pit, charging up your shots, and then unleashing a supercharged plasma storm that clears the place out like a boss. And if you ever run out of ammo, don't sweat it. The heat blast will back you up with some fiery goodness to keep the slaughter going. What's really cool about these weapons is how their upgrades aren't just shiny add-ons, they actually change the way you play. The combat shotgun upgrades let you be less worried about running for armor, the impaler's chronospike makes you feel like a time-bending assassin, and the accelerator's heat blast keeps your plasma flowing no matter what. Each one turns you into a different kind of demon-smashing legend. So, if you're grinding through Doom, the Dark Ages, and wondering which weapon to invest your upgrade points in, these three are definitely the ones you want in your arsenal. They're versatile, powerful, and honestly, just plain fun to use. Plus, there's something deeply satisfying about turning the tide of battle with a well-timed headshot or a perfectly charged plasma blast. Alright, enough talk, grab one of these beasts, head back into the chaos, and show those demons who's boss. Because in Doom, the Dark Ages, it's not just about surviving, it's about dominating with style and a whole lot of firepower. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ballistic Force, Crossbow, Ravager, and Shield Saw. Alright, buckle up because we're about to dive into some serious firepower talk that will make you feel like the ultimate demon-slaying badass in Doom: The Dark Ages. You know, not all weapons are created equal, and today we're zeroing in on those glorious tools of destruction that belong in the S tier Hall of Fame. Let's start with the weapon that basically screams, I'm the BFG's cooler, medieval cousin, the Ballistic Force Crossbow. This bad boy dishes out massive area of effect damage, wiping out hordes of enemies faster than you can say chainsaw breakfast. The best part? You can pull it out with a single button press, so no fiddling around in frantic moments. But fair warning, ammo for this beast is as rare as a unicorn, so you'll want to save those shots for when things really get ugly. Next up, the Ravager. Honestly, this gun is a total game changer. It's the best weapon you'll ever get your hands on in Doom: The Dark Ages, no contest. Once you slap on the vampirism, ignition, and supplier upgrades, the Ravager turns into a literal demon-devouring machine, letting you melt enemies while refilling your health and ammo like it's some kind of magic trick. The catch? You won't unlock this powerhouse until late in the game, but trust me, once you do, you'll cling to it tighter than your grandma's secret cookie recipe. Now let's talk about the Shield Saw. At first glance, it might seem like just a defensive tool, but don't let that fool you. The way this bad boy interacts with enemy shields is a whole new layer of tactical genius. Throw it right, and it can bounce between foes like a deadly frisbee, especially with upgrades like Pincushion, Ricochet, and Rupture turning it into a Swiss Army knife of pain. Plus, those 4 shield runes let you flip the script from defense to offense in a heartbeat. It's like having your cake and eating it too. But the cake is covered in spikes, and it's deliciously deadly. What really makes these weapons stand out is how they blend utility with pure destruction. The Ballistic Force Crossbow cleans house when you're surrounded and need an instant crowd clear. The Ravager gives you sustainability and power wrapped into one sleek package, and the Shield Saw offers versatility that keeps combat fresh and exciting. It's the kind of trio that makes you feel like you're playing Doom on easy mode, even when the screen is practically a fiery nightmare. If you're anything like me, you probably start imagining all the creative ways you can chain these bad boys together in combat. Picture this. You're getting swarmed, pull out your Ballistic Force Crossbow for that massive AoE blast, then switch to the Ravager to soak up health and ammo from the chaos, and finally toss the Shield Saw to finish off any stragglers while blocking incoming hits. It's practically a symphony of destruction, and who doesn't want to be the maestro? So yeah, if you want to truly dominate Doom: The Dark Ages, these 3 weapons should be your go-to arsenal. Each one brings something unique to the table, and mastering them will have you feeling like you're rewriting the laws of medieval demon hunting. Now go out there, rack up those kills, and show those monsters who's boss. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.